What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Friday, July 1st. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 10-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. A couple of good pitchers on the slate that I like. You got Corbin Burnes pitching against a low-salary batting team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Corbin Burnes only giving up a .567 OPS versus lefties. He's facing 7 lefties here tonight, and the Padres have only hit 6 of his last 27 pitches. That's a .222 batting average. Corbin Burnes is $10,900 FanDuel salary. He's $300 less on DraftKings, averaging 43 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring 51, 61, and 46 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has an ERA of 2.41. Record is 6-4, pitching an average of 100 pitches per game. So I like Corbin Burnes here versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now I also like Garrett Cole pitching against the low-salary batting team, the Cleveland Guardians. Garrett Cole giving up a .623 OPS versus righties. He's facing 5 righties here tonight. And I like this pick because the Guardians have only hit 9 of his last 52 pitches. That's a 173 batting average and a pretty decent sample size. So Garrett Cole is $10,600 FanDuel salary, $200 more on DraftKings, averaging 39 fantasy points per game on the season. And he's also been on fire, scoring 46, 59, and 49 fantasy points in his last 3 games. He has an ERA of 2.99. Record is 6-2, pitching an average of 94 pitches per game. So I like Garrett Cole here versus the Cleveland Guardians. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like CJ Cron. He's got a 7% batting advantage over Merrill Kelly. CJ Cron batting a .885 OPS versus righties. Merrill Kelly pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 10% worse than his other pitches. And CJ Cron is 3 for 7 with a .429 batting average and a 1 OPS versus Kelly. He's $4,100 FanDuel salary, $1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. He has a batting average of .294. So I like CJ Cron here versus Merrill Kelly. I also like Trey Mancini batting against Joe Ryan. Trey Mancini is batting a .748 OPS versus righties. Joe Ryan giving up a .569 OPS versus righties. Trey Mancini is 2 for 3 with a 1.334 OPS versus Ryan. He's $3,000 FanDuel salary, only $200 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. He has a batting average of .280. So I like Trey Mancini here versus Joe Ryan. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Gleyber Torres batting against a low salary pitcher, Aaron Savall. Gleyber Torres batting a .685 OPS versus righties. Aaron Savall pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .835 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Gleyber Torres is 4 for 9. It's a .444 batting average and a .944 OPS versus Savall. He's 3,000 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .248, so I like Gleyber Torres here versus Aaron Savall. Now I also like Jeff McNeil with a 10% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Glenn Otto. Jeff McNeil batting 14% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .793 OPS versus righties. Glenn Otto giving up a .782 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Otto yet. Jeff McNeil is 2,900 FanDuel salary, 1,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .323. So I like Jeff McNeil here versus Glenn Otto. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Luis Arraez. He's batting against a low salary pitcher, Spencer Watkins. Luis Arraez bats 26% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .825 OPS versus righties. Spencer Watkins giving up a .715 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Watkins yet. And Luis Arraez only 3,000 FanDuel salary. Now he is 1,900 more on DraftKings, so I love that FanDuel price. Averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .340. So I like Luis Arraez here versus Spencer Watkins. Now, here's a value play, at least on FanDuel. I like Josh Rojas, and he's batting against a low salary pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. Josh Rojas giving up a .707 OPS versus righties. Antonio Senzatella pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .854 OPS versus lefties. And I like this pick because Josh Rojas is 5 for 13. That's a .385 batting average and a 1 OPS versus Senzatella. He's only 2,700 FanDuel salary. Now he is 2,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .248. So I like Josh Rojas here versus Antonio Senzatella. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? So a stud pick for you, I like Trey Turner. He's got a 48% batting advantage over Blake Snell. Trey Turner batting 11% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .939 OPS versus lefties. Blake Snell pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 37% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .780 OPS versus righties. Now, Trey Turner is only 1 for 7 versus Snell, so that is something to consider here. He's $4,100 FanDuel salary, $1,900 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .305, so I like Trey Turner here versus Blake Snell. I also like Carlos Correa with a 30% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Spencer Watkins. Carlos Correa batting a .848 OPS versus righties. Spencer Watkins pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a 1.028 OPS versus righties. Now, Carlos Correa is 0 for 2 versus Watkins, but the splits are great here. He's $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .301, so I like Carlos Correa here versus Spencer Watkins. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. A home run hitter, you got Aaron Judge versus a low salary pitcher, Aaron Savall. Aaron Judge batting 8% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .968 OPS versus righties. Aaron Savall pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .835 OPS versus righties. Aaron Judge is 3 for 10, batting .300 with a .864 OPS versus Savall. He's $4,100 FanDuel salary, $2,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 14 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .286, so I like Aaron Judge here versus Aaron Savall. Now, I also like Mike Yastrzemski with a 76% batting advantage over Lance Lynn. Mike Yastrzemski batting 34% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .832 OPS versus righties. And Lance Lynn throws his worst ball versus lefty batters, 42% worse than his pitch to righties, giving up a .972 OPS versus lefties. Now, there's no at-bats versus Lynn yet. Mike Yastrzemski, $2,900 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .244, so I like Mike Yastrzemski here versus Lance Lynn. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.